against you.
When justice is repressed, the smoke erase a first. This anger must be urged. Freedom will comply. Resist, all prejudice dismissed.
Everyone, today we are with Karl Willets from Memoriam, an amazing huge band that right now is like being on the top of the crowd of every social media, we were saying. So first of all, how are you, Karl?
All good. Yeah, it's today is the 26th of March 2021, and it is the very day that we've been waiting for a long time, when the new album To the End, released through Reaper Entertainment Europe, has been released. So it's been an absolutely manic day of social media interaction. So yeah, it's been great though. It's been really good. It's all been very positive. So we're very pleased.
And we will go through this album. But before, I want to know just simple questions. Who is Karl Willets?
Good. Yeah, keep it simple. That's the way I like it.
The best way. Just
who is?
Yeah, just speak a little about you before speaking about Memoriam.
About me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who am I? Who am I? Memoriam? Okay. Well, I don't think I need to really explain who I am. I think people pretty much know what I've done over the past 30 years, and here I am, still doing it. It's been a great, incredible journey throughout the 30 odd years that I've been doing this, and it's been fantastic. I'm still enjoying doing it even more so now than I was in the past.
And I want to know how Memoriam, the born of Memoriam, or the story of Memoriam, and of course the lineup of the journey of this new band, the Memoriam.
Yeah, well, we've been doing it for 5 years now, so we're not really a new band anymore, are we? So, we've been doing it for a while. But yeah, but we are, I suppose, with this new album, we are a new band. Yeah, in many respects. Yeah, we've got a new drummer involved. So, this is a new birth of the band in that respect. And we're with a new record label as well. We've signed to Reaper Entertainment. So we've we are just continuing doing what we enjoy doing, and long may that last. Yeah, we're having a great time doing it.
So
there.
And I want to speak just of course.
That's my little lad, that is.
Before speaking about the last album that has been released today, I want to speak about the first album. So, for the Fallen, just how started the composition, the topic behind it. Just explain me how this album born.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So how we started off in the very first place was, we were very much why I started doing Memoriam was as a result, really, the catalyst for the whole conception of the band was the loss of Martin Kiddie Kearns, the drummer from Bolt Thrower, which kind of puts an end to that part of my history, really, and made me consider what I really wanted to do moving forward with my life. I could have sat around and waited for something to happen that may not have ever happened with the continuation of Bolt Thrower, or I could have got off my backside and done something about the situation and created something new, which is really what I ended up doing. You know, I always wanted
Amazing.
to work with my friends. Yeah, I wanted to kind of like do something fresh and something new, and obviously still within the old school death metal genre, because that's all I
Yeah.
know and love. But yeah, I wanted to start a new band and do something fresh with some of my colleagues that I've known for a long time. Frank, from Benediction back in the day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Sacrilege. I've always wanted to work with him in the
Huge band.
band,
Huge band.
and Andrew Whale, of course. I always wanted to work with Andrew. He's one of my best mates. He is my best mate, and
That's amazing.
I wanted to do a band with him. So it's kind of like, what do I do in this period of my life to kind of like push forward and do something positive, in otherwise a world of negativity, really. So that's how Memoriam was born. It was from that kind of like experience of losing Martin.
Yeah.
So it's the starting point for us.
Yeah.
And we did three albums in pretty quick succession. For the Fallen,
Yes.
the Silent
the
Vigil, and then Requiem for Mankind.
The Silent Feet,
So
the
we moved forward at an
Vigil,
incredible.
and Requiem for Mankind. And what about this journey of this album? Something's changing from the beginning, in the sound, in the lyrics.
It's been an incredible journey for us, really, because we kind of like, our original aspirations and intention of doing the band was just really to have some fun, really, and that's
sure.
really still stays with us today. That's the basic driving force of what we're doing. Is we just want to enjoy what we're doing. But really, our aspirations weren't really hard. All we wanted to do was get into the rehearsal room and have some jam out some old school classics and do some songs and maybe do some local shows and just enjoy, being in a band again and having that whole kind of like creativity around us and making.
Of course.
And then, we kind of rolled forward. We got a record deal, and then we did these other albums, and it's all kind of like grown from that point, and it's been quite an exciting journey to be involved with. We've had like 4 albums now out in the past 5 years.
And in fact, today, of course, people will see this interview a little bit later but today is the 26th of March. We explain to people that we'll see later. Is the release to the end. What about this album? What is everything? The composing, the evolution, the main topic of this album. There is a message. What about this album?
Yeah, I think this is a new starting point for the band. I think the first 3 albums we were very much defining ourselves as a band. I think a lot of bands do that, regardless of where they are in their career. It takes a while for a band to find itself.
Of course. You have to,
and define
and try. Yeah.
And we're not scared of creativity. We like to try out.
All of you are a musician with a lot of career behind you.
So
you didn't came from a garage with a
absolutely. We've been doing it for a while. Yes, so we kind of know what we're doing, and we're not really scared or afraid of experimenting. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't, but we're not scared of that. And I think that's the creative process of trying out different things is really what it's all about, being in a band for me. That kind of like that creativity is the spark of what keeps me going and wants me to keep on doing this.
And if I have, for example, to explain what is about to the end, to the people, what will you say?
Yeah. Well, I think To the End is a new beginning. It's called To the End, but in essence,
it's like the opposite.
Absolutely, it's a strange juxtaposition, as we call it. Really. It's a new start for Memoriam in many respects, because for a number of factors. We've signed to a new label, so it's a new journey for us. We're on Reaper Entertainment now, which is great. Yes. We've got a new drummer in place as well, which again is a new kind of like a addition to the sound that we're creating with the band. And of course, we're starting a new trilogy of albums. So this just starting a new story that we're kind of like telling these albums. So the first 3 albums were very much like the kind of like born from the experience of losing Martin, and experience the whole kind of process of death and mourning and loss and sorrow and grief. Those are the prevalent themes that were contained in the first 3 albums. Well, I think that we're very much inspired by what's happened in the world around us over the past 12 months.
Seems in fact the end.
Absolutely. I think we can't really kind of like
people
ignore
can
that.
relate. People can relate to what is happening right now. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think it's something we've all experienced, in our own ways, in our own little bubbles, that we've all experienced this kind of like sense of isolation and desperation and despair and fear of the future and fear of what's around us and all these kind of ideas.
I mean, not knowing what will happen tomorrow or in the early future. We
absolutely. So everything's up in the air. Nothing's certain. And so that I think those kind of like experiences have kind of like been quite a big format in what this album's all about. And formed quite a large kind of extent what the lyrical themes focus around. Also there's a large percentage of reflecting what's going on in the world around us on a political, social, economic level as well.
Because we are in a political, social, economic, tragical period also right now. That is all strange. All drama is happening in the world right now. This is really
absolutely weird. So we're in a very strange. I mean, it's unprecedented times that we live in.
Sure. But if you have 4 albums released. But of course, maybe there are the new lad and lasses that they didn't know about the music, that Memoriam. If you want to suggest for the new fans, we can say, just young guys and girls that are interested to know better Memoriam, which song or album do you suggest them? Say, buy this album or listen to this song and you will get interested by us.
Obviously the new album. Go and buy the new album. Go and buy the new album. Yeah, we need some money. We're skint. That's it, because we haven't been able to do any shows. That's one thing about last year's was that normally speaking we're quite busy. We're not a band that's ever going to go on long extended tours. We're never going to jump on a tour bus and go for a tour of 4 to 6 weeks across Europe. That's just not something that really interests us. We're very much a band that kind of does things on our own terms. So we kind of like do things at weekends. We've got to that point in our lives where we can pick and choose what we want to do, and that's how we do it. And we kind of fit it around our own lives. We've all got lives outside of the band.
Yes, that is something maybe that was different from the past when you have 60 shows one after the other, and you have to tour all the time, no time to spend with your family, for yourself, especially with your children.
I think if we tried to do that now, it would probably kill us. So we just do weekend shows really. That's for us, that suits us fine. But saying that, we are quite active in that process. We do shows virtually every other weekend throughout the year. So we are very busy in that process. And obviously that didn't happen last year, because there was no shows to do, whatsoever. So we had this big space, this big gap in our kind of like calendar of activity. So it gave us the opportunity to concentrate pretty much on just doing the album. I think that's another factor which has added to the reason why this album is such a strong album.
We can say that even if it has been a tough year for Memoriam, it has been a productive year also, because as you said, you are arrived with this album to be like a definition of the sound of the band. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that it's kind of like okay, it's been challenging because We haven't been
Yeah,
able
sure.
to get out there and do the things we love doing, which are playing shows and and showcasing and getting around the world and meeting crazy people and doing
Yeah,
great
fans from
stuff.
over the world. Yeah, of
But
course.
we've used the time constructively. You know, we've
Yeah,
used
I
the
mean,
time to
there is
create, which
there is a
is probably much our strongest album to date.
yeah,
So you know, in that respect, you know, there's millions have died across the planet as a result of coronavirus. But we've come
yeah.
up with quite a good album, so it kind of balances itself out in that respect. It's quite
It's a
good.
routine. And of course you like the other members of Memoriam have been on the scene for a lot of years. How did you see that metal scene changed? How is changed from the past to today? How is for you the contemporary metal scene? Did you
Yeah,
see some difference? Before was maybe more genuine, now is more constructive. How is, because of course you were around for a lot of years, so no one better than you could answer me to the question, because of course I spoke with Jeff Becerra, but of course I want to know any opinion of any singer and people that are in this music. Before I was even more. So I was before and compared to now. In your opinion, of course.
it's an interesting. The extreme metal genre is a very interesting, exciting to be part of. Yeah, and one thing that I've learned through the decades that I've been involved in the genre is that, you know, scenes come and scenes go. You know, and I think, you know, I when I started out doing this, you know, 30 years ago, the music that I was involved in, the music that kind of got me enthusiastic and wanting to be part of this, was the UK hardcore punk grind scene.
Oh,
You know,
really?
it wasn't, all the things like Amoebics, Antisex, Axe Grinder, Sacrilege, all those kind of like anarcho kind of grind punk bands.
Amazing.
Was the thing that kind of like really
which part
made
of
me
UK?
who I am. You know,
Which part of UK?
we're from Birmingham. We're from the heart of the country. So, you know, we lived
Countryside.
at a place called the
Amazing.
Mermaid, which was like a legendary kind of like venue. Yeah. So yeah, the whole kind of essence of what we were all about is from that kind of hardcore punk
There
kind
are
of like scene. Yeah, and it evolved through what we kind of like. We kind of like took essence of that kind of like punk sound, and we kind of added this kind of like new wave of like metal that was coming out, like Slayer, and added these two sounds together to kind of create this new kind of thing, which became death metal at the end of the day.
Sure.
So we kind of, you know, were part of this kind of big scene that created this like death metal scene in the late 80s, early 90s. And it kind of all went really, really well. You know, we were doing great. And then all of a sudden, like in the middle of the 90s, the whole scene kind of collapsed a little bit, because you know, we were all kind of getting to our point in our where we'd done it all, really. Yeah. And you know, kind of the whole grunge thing came along, which kind of like knocked it off its feet. And in reaction to that, this whole kind of like new metal thing, black metal came along, you know, which is like the Norwegian kind of satanic kind of black metal thing came along. Yeah, and from my perspective, I bloody I hated it. I didn't understand it. It was totally opposite and alien to anything that I understood or stood for. You know, all these bands coming along with this, you know, intense, horrible guitar sound, and just of
course,
with all about black and white makeup and style. You know, that was totally alien to what we were about. But you know, in retrospect, over the years, it's made me I realise now, as I'm a bit older, that was a necessity. It had to happen because, you know, each generation comes along, and it has to create its own style of music, which challenges what's
now is worse
in order to create their own sense of identity. You know, so absolutely. So I think it's important, and that's what's kept the whole scene alive. You know, over the years, over the past 30 years, scenes come and scenes go, and each generation comes along and creates its own sound, its own music, its own
Yeah.
extreme form of music, which challenges what's happened before, which makes it what it is, and that's enabled us to really continue what we're doing as well. So
Yeah, but there are
I didn't
always
like it at the
people.
time.
There are always people that
I still.
didn't like it.
I still don't like it, but that's not the point. It's not supposed to be for me. I'm not supposed. I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to like it. But it's what keeps the scene alive, and that's why it's such a vibrant place. And long may that last, and it will do. Apart from baby metal, can't stand baby metal.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, right now there are these all new bands. There are
terrible Japanese bands.
There are all these new, we can say, new wave of death metal bands that are coming from Denmark. What do you think about all these new death metal, about young kids, young guys coming out today? Because they, of course, they try inspiration from huge people like you, huge musicians like you. So what do you think? You think that we have a strong new metals, death metals?
Yeah, there's always bands. Yeah, there's always bands that are coming up and trying new stuff and changing things. And it's great to see that. Yeah, it's nice to see that that the stuff that we've done in the past has inspired these bands to go out there and create something new and something different as well. So I mean, it's constantly evolving. It's not my place or position to kind of judge these bands, really. I may like some of it, I may not like some of it, but at the end of the day, what we've done in the past has kind of like lit the torch and enabled these other people to go out there and create their own styles and their own sounds and do something different and do something new, which is great. Without that kind of like constant involvement and growth of the scene, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing today. So it's great to see that, and long may that last.
Yes, and if you have to describe Memoriam in one word, how do you describe
that? One word.
Yeah,
that's difficult.
Yeah. It's tough. I know.
I would like to add a proviso and explain it in more than one word, I would like to say that Memoriam is a celebration of life. And one quote. I have one quote's good. Yeah, it's a celebration of life through death metal. That's what it's about. It's all about enjoyment and having a good time and celebrating our lives.
A playing game of words. It's like a playing game of words. Death and life. Death and life. That's great. And of course,
absolutely, you celebrate our lives through death metal.
I want to know, of course, before musical influences of Memoriam that are. I mean, I want to know your musical influences of Karl Willets.
Yeah, well, the musical influences are, as I mentioned before, is all those bands from the hardcore. I mean, Sacrilege are probably one of the biggest musical influences to me. Sacrilege UK, were probably watching them play live was the defining moment for me. That kind of like light bulb moment when I saw a band and thought, I want to do this. All those bands from that genre, Amoebics, Antisect, Axe Grinder, all those things set me on the path to do what I'm doing today. So without those and that influence back then, definitely they're the ones that I draw reference from.
And what about the whole Memoriam influences? I think they are the same for all of you because
that's it. I mean that's it. We've got a wide range of musical influences involved. So we don't draw specifically for one thing. For example, me and Frank, we come from that same kind of scene, that same genre of music. But Scott, who's the guitarist, is like 10 years younger than us. So his sphere of influence and the things that he brings to the band with his musical, with his guitar style is totally different. So he's very much influenced by the the mid 90s death metal scene,
Yeah.
Monstrosity, Defleshed, all those kind of things, Strapping Young Lad,
Yeah,
things like
yes.
that. Those are the things that really float his boat, and he brings to the mix things that I don't really like, to be perfectly honest, but so those kind of combination of factors adds to what makes the band what it is, and it works really well.
It's amazing. And what about the future project of Memoriam? Some live, some show, apart the last album that has been released today, there is some live plans.
We'd love to, we're loving to the idea of getting back out there and playing live, but it's just all dependent on what's happening with this third wave of coronavirus. So who knows? Who knows what the future holds? It's all up in the air right now, but we're looking forward to getting out there and obviously doing some shows. So that's what that's what it's all about for us. And it's all. But regardless of that, we've still got another couple of albums. I say we've just started this new trilogy of albums, exploring life and hope. And so we're going to concentrate on if there are no shows to do, we're going to kind of keep on the creative process and move forward with recording a new album as well. So not only are we releasing the new album today, we are contemplating working already on the next album as well. So there's going to be life in the band for at least another 2 or 3 years. Sure. So we're keeping on doing what we like to do.
Last question. This is tough for many bands, but I always ask, if you have to pick 5 band or 5 album or 5 songs that formed you since you were a child till today, what would they be?
That's bloody difficult to put on there. Put you on the spot there.
I know, because you can choose even when you were younger. That there's no, it can be not metal. You can choose one song or one album. You can mix everything. It just you can do as you want. But
let's have a quick think about things that inspired me. Okay, well, obviously I'm going to have to list in that list. Obviously, top of that list will be Sacrilege. Beyond the Realms of Madness would be the top choice, because they are one of the main sources of inspiration for doing what I'm doing today.
Yeah, sure.
Alongside that would have to be Axe Grinder, Rise of the Serpent Men, which is again up there with a big, huge, influential kind of really doing what I'm doing today. Right, okay, so moving downwards.
The third one?
I'd probably have to choose within that list of things that have inspired me to do what I'm doing would be Killing Joke. Killing Joke, the Killing Joke album would be up there. Killing Joke. That would be up there on that list of influential albums. Maybe I'd probably introduce Slayer. Okay. I think that had a big influence on me hearing that back in 87, 88. Haunting the Chapel EP was a big, game-changing kind of record to hear. It's very different from anything else that I'd ever heard up until that point. Yeah. And I'll probably finish it off with album number 5. Let's pick something that I like. That's difficult. I'll probably have to go to something like Celtic Frost. Definitely, again, another band which kind of had a big, Megatherion. It's a huge kind of or Morbid Tales, anything from around that area of Celtic Frost. But again, was another kind of game-changing, hearing something else from a different country, which had a big influence on what we were doing. So, so there we go. In a nutshell, it's starting off with the old hardcore anarcho grind crust, and then moving into the metal thing, which is really what it's been all about for us as a band, really, throughout our history.
Yes.
Difficult to do that on the spot without thinking about it.
It's always difficult for any musician. It's always difficult. In fact, I all the time don't know if to ask or not, but I try. But just since we are at the end,
fair play.
If you want to leave a message to your fans, Memoriam fans, Just that's all.
So yeah, oh, definitely. So yeah, I'm aware that you are contacting me from Italy.
Yeah, Sicily. For
Yeah,
me, precise.
absolutely. Whereabouts in Italy are you based?
Sicily,
Sicily,
the
the little
south.
island,
Yeah,
of Sicily.
the smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to kind of, well, obviously at this point, then, bearing that in mind, I'd like to kind of like
We are in summer
reach out,
almost here. Yeah.
reach out to my my family and friends in Italy. I'm very aware of it, that we've never got to play as a band in Italy to this point. And that's something we'd like to remedy, So, if we'd like to kind of like extend our thanks and support to you this evening, for giving this a chance to have this interview. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
For me as well.
And also, we'd like to kind of like say thanks to all our fans and friends and followers and supporters throughout Italy that have supported us throughout the years. We are very grateful for your support. We are very aware that without your support and we wouldn't be in the position we are today. It's all about you guys at the end of the day. So thank you very much.
So thank you so much,
support.
Karl, and have a good rest of the day. Enjoy your evening, and thank you so much. And I really see a big future for Memoriam. Can't wait to see you live. Thank you so much.
Hopefully one day that will happen.
It was an honor speaking to you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very much.